On the day I married Evelyn, she slept with another man in our marital bed. I tolerated and understood while she reveled in it. We lived like this for 3 years with unspoken understanding. When the 3 years were up, my system task was complete, and I left without looking back. Evelyn cried and asked me, "Do you really not love me anymore? Then what were these 3 years to you?" I sneered. What were they? Proof of my endurance. When everyone around me said I was Evelyn's lapdog. A lapdog in the end, it's left with nothing. But I'm a lucky simp who actually managed to marry Evelyn. Even on our wedding day, she was still flirting with her boy toy. Even though she arrived late to the wedding and postponed the banquet for that boy toy. Even she shared our marital bed with other men. This was the first time I caught them in bed together. I glanced at the man lying beside her, fair-skinned with timid eyes. His clothes were mostly on, but his face was covered in lipstick marks. Calmly picking up the pillow that had fallen to the floor, I said to Evelyn, "I bought groceries. If you're free, you can stay for dinner later." Evelyn stretched lazily, then transferred money to the pretty boy's account before sending him on his way. "I want to eat scrambled eggs with tomatoes." She walked up to me, wrapped her arms around me from behind, and coquettishly said, "Feed me." I really don't understand. Two people curled up in bed, both fully clothed. Could they really just be chatting? But I didn't have the heart to probe what special kinks she and her boy toys might have, because frankly I couldn't care less. It was that I loved her enough to share her with other men. That would be idiotic. I simply felt that whatever Evelyn did had nothing to do with me. She asked nothing but a fart to me. At the dinner table, Evelyn said to me while eating, "Nathan is sick. I plan to visit him this weekend. I want to be able to celebrate your birthday with you." Nathan and Evelyn were neighbors when they were kids, childhood sweethearts, you could say. All those different men Evelyn brought home were just for novelty, but when it came to Nathan, she was serious. Nathan had been frail and sickly since childhood, often bedridden for days at a time. Evelyn would stay by his side every day, saying she was his older sister and needed to protect him properly. When they grew up, Evelyn no longer let Nathan call her sister Evelyn. She would laugh and playfully scold him, saying it made her sound old for no reason. Nathan would chuckle too, patting her head and teasingly calling her little sister Evelyn instead. When they were together, people always looked on with envy, as if I should have been the one to become her husband. "When will you be coming back tonight?" I asked. Evelyn was silent for a moment before shaking her head. "I might not make it back in time." "Well," I said, "then be careful on your way." Hearing this, Evelyn frowned slightly, so magnanimous. It was the first time I saw her acting moody. In the past, she always seemed so self-assured in everything she did, carrying herself with an air of frivolity. But this time she inexplicably threw a little tantrum, apparently quite dissatisfied with my response. I prided myself on being a perfect husband. I loved her, wholeheartedly tolerated her, and treated her with nothing but fairness. However, I also had my own selfish motives. I willingly became her lapdog because I was bound to a system. If I didn't fawn over her, I would die. 3 years, once I endured fawning over her for 3 years and completed the system's task, it would set me free. And today was the final day of the second year. 3 as I looked at Evelyn's somewhat angry face before me, I couldn't help but laugh, thinking that liberation was finally near. I quickly responded to her, "Isn't it good for me to be magnanimous? Don't you like it? If you think what I've done isn't enough, I could be even more magnanimous." "How magnanimous? Should I be divorced to make way for you and Nathan? Is that enough?" The spoon I had brought to Evelyn's lips was suddenly slapped to the ground as she erupted in anger. "Leo, what the hell is wrong with you?" I was a bit stunned. I quietly picked up the spoon. "Are you in a bad mood today? Did something happen?" Evelyn gave me a suspicious look. "Leo, if you have any grievances against me, you can speak up. If you're sulking because I can't spend your birthday weekend with you, I can make it up to you with a separate birthday party next week. But you suddenly acting like this is really pointless." "Acting like what? How am I acting?" For over 2 years, Evelyn had never once lost her temper with me. Because of my generous tolerance, she was very satisfied with me. But today, it's like she has taken the wrong medicine. I've already been as tolerant as humanly possible with her. What more does she want from me? But I could only endure. I had to endure. Just one more day left. I couldn't let over 2 years of effort go to waste because of such a trivial matter. I walked up to her, devoutly kissed her forehead, then held her in my arms. "I just want you to be happy, even if I'm just to back up you. And Nathan, enjoy your weekend. I won't argue or make trouble for you, I promise." Yet Evelyn still wouldn't calm down. She pushed me away and sneered, "2 years, Leo, and you're still exactly the same, not an ounce of growth." Evelyn slammed the door and stormed out. She must have gone to seek comfort from Nathan. I couldn't be more relieved. The next day was my birthday, and Evelyn was probably still at Nathan's place. After enduring it for 3 whole years, I finally made it through. The system notified me that my mission was complete. I no longer had to die, and it even gave me some rewards. After marrying Evelyn, she never once celebrated my birthday with me. On my first birthday, she declined my invitation, using work commitments as an excuse. At the time, I still clung to hope. Maybe she really was just too busy. I thought since we're married, after all, I might as well visit her at the office to see her. As a result, the moment her office door was pushed open, I saw her assistant pinning her down with her clothes in disarray. On her second birthday, she said she was too tired and needed to go out to relax that night. She called several young men to party at a KTV and didn't come home. It wasn't until 2 a.m. that she called me asking me to take her home. On the way back, she kept asking me, Leo, aren't you jealous that I went out drinking and singing with others? I said, you're already married to me, and that's enough. Evelyn pouted and said, Leo, you're too magnanimous, you know that. I glanced at her, but didn't respond. She continued, but this works out well, I'll see other men, but you'll always have a place in my heart, Leo. You must keep loving me. With that, she flopped down and started snoring loudly. For the third birthday today, not only did she inexplicably pick a huge fight with me yesterday over Nathan being sick, but she also went completely off the grid today. She blocked my phone number. What am I supposed to do now? I urgently need to talk to her about something. For my third birthday, I want to properly prepare a satisfying gift for myself. I'm going to get a divorce. I remember Nathan's address. Evelyn took me there before. I think it was when Nathan had a fever once. She said she wanted to stay with him and brought me along as well. I didn't want to go at first, but I couldn't refuse her, so I followed. Nathan didn't seem to like me much. I tried to show my generosity by fussing over him, but he remained cold and indifferent toward me. In that case, I wasn't about to keep forcing my affection where it wasn't wanted. I went out to the balcony to smoke. Before long, Evelyn came over and snapped at me. What are you doing slacking off here, Nathan? As running a fever, couldn't you at least have the decency to fetch him a basin of water, to wipe himself down, or at the very least get him a glass of water? I thought to myself, he's your man. Why should I be the one to take care of him? But I only dared to complain in my heart. I put out my cigarette and smiled at her. God, I'll go right away. Evelyn frowned at first, then glared at me. If you don't take good care of him, I'll hold you responsible. I cooked porridge for Nathan, wiped his body, and did household chores, staying busy until midnight. Evelyn had already fallen asleep in the next room. I fetched another basin of water for Nathan. Let me wipe you down. Nathan impatiently knocked over the basin, spilling water all over the bed. So eager, Leo, you're living such a pathetic life. How dare a mere mistress have the audacity to insult me, the legitimate husband, right to my face? But as I said before, I'm just doing this to survive. Everything else means nothing to me. I shrugged, what, jealous that I'm willing to endure all this without complaint. 6. Nathan remained silent. He gazed out the window into the pitch-black night, seeing nothing, unsure what he was even looking at. Nathan suddenly got out of bed, shaking off the water, as if he'd never been ill. I've never seen a strategy for winning a woman like yours. Do you think acting like a doormat, all tolerant and understanding, will make Evelyn fall for you? Stop deluding yourself. I sighed and picked up the wash basin. Bro, I really don't have time for this competition. If you like her, wait 3 years for me. After 3 years, I'll divorce her. Nathan wanted to say more, but Evelyn had already woken up from the sound of the basin hitting the floor. She rushed over, saw the bed soaked with water, and without a word slapped me. Leo, how childish can you be, bullying someone who is sick? Have you no shame? Nathan smirked smugly, then reached out to pull Evelyn's arm. Evelyn, don't be like this. Leo didn't mean it, and it's partly my fault for not catching him in time. For the first time, I witnessed the true power of a male green tea bitch. I dragged out the wet sheets, then mopped up the water on the floor. It was my mistake. 1 happened again. Evelyn still wasn't satisfied. She grabbed me by the collar and dragged me into her room, crossing her arms as she glared at me. I took you to Nathan's house and had you look after him. Are you unhappy with me about that? Not at all. You're overthinking it. Leo, you're completely unreasonable. That night, Evelyn outright kicked me out. It was raining outside, and my phone and car keys were still at Nathan's place in the dead of night. I couldn't get a taxi anymore. Helpless, I sat by the doorway all night. Early the next morning, when Evelyn opened the door and saw me, she kicked me a few times in disgust, saying I was filthy and shouldn't ride back with her. She threw my phone at me and told me to take a taxi home. Having been drenched in the rain all night, I caught a cold and ran a fever, feeling dizzy and sluggish. I couldn't even make out what Evelyn was saying. Holding my phone, I staggered away unsteadily. I went home, took a hot shower, went to the hospital for an injection, and got some medicine. Yet when Evelyn came back that evening, she didn't ask me a single word about it. She just said indifferently, once you're better, hurry up and cook. What else are you good for? 7 memories flooded my mind, and before I knew it, I had arrived at Nathan's house. I rang the doorbell, but no one answered. I rang again, and the door opened. Evelyn appeared before me, wearing a silk camisole nightgown. Leo, she frowned, almost imperceptibly, asking me irritably, what are you doing here? To get a divorce, I replied with a faint smile. What nonsense are you spouting now? I don't have time for your childish games. Evelyn moved to shut the door. I blocked it with my foot and patiently said, I'm not joking, just sign the papers at 1. Take more than a few minutes. Evelyn didn't really want to talk to me, and just then Nathan showed up. Evelyn, who was that ringing the doorbell earlier? Nathan asked as he walked over, his face turning pale when he saw me. He must be afraid. I came to steal Evelyn away from him. This guy talk about dumb luck. I'm actually here to give him a helping hand. Leo, you're here. Nathan rubbed his temples, his irritation and unease laid bare in that moment. What brings you, Evelyn, is staying with me for a few days. I flashed Nathan a perfectly practiced, toothy grin. Hey, old friend, I'm here to fulfill my promise. What? Nathan looked utterly bewildered by my words. Forgotten I told you before, if you like her, I'd divorce her after 3 years. So I brought the divorce papers. If you two are in a hurry, you can get married today. What nonsense are you talking about? You're not making any sense. Evelyn pushed me away sharply. Leo, you've satisfied me perfectly for 3 years. Why have you suddenly become so absurd these past few days? Wouldn't it be better if you just stayed the way you were before? Stay the way I was before, Evelyn. Are you joking with me? Stay the way I was before, like a dog at your beck and call. I scoffed. Talking to you is such a waste of time. Evelyn snatched the divorce papers from my hand. You want a divorce? Is that it? Fine, I'll sign. But don't come crying to me later, even if you beg on your knees. I pity you again. Though Evelyn's words were infuriating, she was true to her word. She signed the divorce papers and handed them to me. Delighted, I was ready to walk away without a second glance. Nathan suddenly grabbed my hand and said with feigned sincerity, "It's my birthday today. Have a meal with me before you go." Even Evelyn was startled, and I could see a hint of displeasure on her face. I didn't need to think twice to know Nathan was showing off to me. But what exactly could he be showing off? No matter how unworthy I may be, at least I was married to Evelyn. As for him putting on airs left and right in the end, just a shameful homewrecker who can't show his face in public. He thought I was devastated. He thought he D1. But the truth is I never even considered him competition. Because they're not worth it. No point in wasting words. I'm done entangling myself with them. Right now my top priority is using my savings to buy a house far away from here, leaving them behind to start a new life. No thanks. Happy birthday to you. Hope you both enjoy yourselves. I pushed Nathan's hand away and walked off without looking back. After returning home, I packed my things without a moment's rest. I was desperate to leave to hell with this godforsaken place. Whoever wants to stay can stay. As for Evelyn, whoever wants to put up with her can go right ahead. I booked the earliest flight to Southern Anhui and went straight to a real estate agent to look at houses the moment I landed. I bought a house, bought a car, and hit the bars and KTVs. Carefree and unrestrained returning home at night, I checked my phone to find 2 missed calls from Evelyn along with a WeChat message. Why aren't you answering my calls? Even if you're fooling around, there should be limits, right? Without a second thought, I deleted Evelyn from my WeChat contacts and then blocked her phone number. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Back when I was slaving away at home, Evelyn often stayed out all night. I would call to ask where she was, checking on her safety, only to be met with 4 words, mind your own business. From that moment on, I never interfered with her affairs again. Where she went, who she was with, or when she did return, I stopped asking altogether. Just as I stopped inquiring about her, I deleted all her contact information. She no longer had the right to ask about me either, because she forfeited that privilege. After cutting all ties with Evelyn completely, I began living it up everywhere. Life is short. I've wasted 3 years, and I'll certainly make good use of the days I have left. 2 weeks later, as I was heading out to enjoy myself, as usual, I was unfortunately cornered by Evelyn at the door. Her cheeks were slightly sunken, dark circles hung heavily under her eyes, and she looked utterly exhausted, as if she hadn't slept for days, nothing like the captivating beauty she once was. Do you have any idea how long I've been looking for you? Evelyn said. Evelyn's temper had softened considerably, yet I could still sense the arrogance and disdain emanating from her very bones, as if I were meant to forever hide in her house, just one among her many men. If I left, it would be disloyalty to her. That she was willing to come find me at all was already a blessing from heaven, a privilege no other man received, since I was fortunate enough to be favored by her. I shouldn't be making such unreasonable demands. I should bow my head and admit my mistake. Perhaps I should even kneel before her like a lovesick fool, saying, "I'm sorry, please forgive me." What a load of crap, Evelyn. Is this really necessary? I spread my hands and smiled, then smoothly pushed her away. Sorry, I have a friend gathering today, so I want to entertain you. Make yourself at home. Leo, how much longer are you going to keep this up? My patience has its limits too. Evelyn, my patience has its limits too. I glanced at my watch. You're wasting my time. Evelyn stood frozen in place upon hearing this. Her weary eyes stared at me in disbelief, while all I saw was her pitiful, laughable state. I stepped around her and walked away without hesitation. I hadn't gone more than a few steps when Evelyn screamed at me in utter breakdown. It's just celebrating Nathan's birthday. Is this really worth all the fuss? I came all this way to ask you to come home. What more do you want? Leo, you used to grovel after me worse than a dog, and now you're pretending to have dignity. Why don't you take a piss and look at your reflection? You're just a plaything. How dare you act tough with me? She panicked. I ignored her, treating her outburst like a passing fart. I heard her stomping around in a frenzy, her high heels clicking loudly against the floor. I never turned around, not even once. 10 following the address my old classmate sent, I arrived at a quaint, old-fashioned restaurant. Well, old classmate, long time no. See, you've gotten quite refined, Haven T, you old Zhang teased with a laugh. I cupped my hands and smiled though. We hadn't seen each other for years once we got together. It was like opening a floodgate of words we couldn't stop talking. Where S.G. Lin, why hasn't she arrived? Yet old Zhang suddenly blurted out between bites. Ji Lin, that name was all too familiar to me. Yet now hearing it mentioned, I felt an odd sense of unfamiliarity. As for her, it really had been a long time since we met. Ji Lin and I were desk mates, with her being an outstanding student and the undisputed school belle. Back in high school, relying on some academic foundation from middle school, I spent a year or two hanging out with a few upperclassmen from other schools. It wasn't until the second semester of sophomore year, after the midterm exams, that our class rearranged seats based on grades. As a top scorer, Ji Lin had priority in choosing not only her own seat, but also who her desk mate would be. She chose me without hesitation. Why, she said, I was dragging down the class average. She said I was someone with no sense of class honor. She said, starting today, I'm going to tutor you. Since then, I often stayed after school to study with Ji Lin, and over time, the budding flower of infatuation in my heart bloomed. One day, as we were studying together, as usual, the golden glow of the setting sun streamed through the window, casting light on her hair and the side of her face. As if possessed, I reached out to tuck a stray lock of hair behind her ear. Ji Lin froze. So did I. The classroom was filled with the sound of our rapid breathing, and the air carried the faint scent of gardenias. It was from Ji Lin's clothes. She snapped back to reality, staring into my eyes. Do I look good? 11. Beautiful. So beautiful. I couldn't look away. A young heart's infatuation is just that simple. But I was too cowardly. Instead of answering her, I turned and ran away. The next day, tutoring continued as usual. We tacitly agreed not to mention the matter again. The third day was the same, and so was the fourth. Until the second semester of senior year, when I rose from the bottom of the class to the top ranks overjoyed, I went to find Ji Lin to share my happiness. But I witnessed the most handsome guy from the neighboring class confessing to her. Ji Lin spotted me, and I instinctively took a few steps back. I didn't think I was any less attractive than that guy, and my family background might even be better than his, but there was just one thing I couldn't compare to, and it made me feel utterly inferior. I used to be nothing but a delinquent. Compared to my reckless and indulgent ways, gentle boys, like the class heartthrob, should be more popular with girls. So under Ji Lin's gaze, I left. After that, rumor spread in class that Ji Lin and the class heartthrob were dating. I volunteered to change seats, and not long after, my father sent me abroad to study. I haven't been in contact with Ji Lin since then. Thinking back now, it's been 7 years since we last saw each other. I wonder if Ji Lin is still with that handsome guy from class 2, old Zhang said, while popping a peanut in his mouth back. Then their relationship was the talk of the town. 7 years have passed. So much has changed. Another classmate waved his hand dismissively and downed a glass of liquor. I had no choice but to down my drink with a bitter smile. At that moment, the private room door swung open, and a gentle, crisp voice rang out, sorry, everyone, I'm late. It was Ji Lin. The whole group turned to look, but I didn't dare turn around. Well, if at ISNT, our campus belle, old Zhang, chuckled here, why don't you sit next to your old desk mate? With that, old Zhang gave up the seat next to me. Ji Lin sat down gracefully and smiled at me. Leo, long time no see. Ji Lin was just as captivating as I remembered, with long eyelashes, rosy cheeks, and delicate lips. I wanted to say so much to her, but in the end, all that came out was a simple long time no see. Halfway through the meal, old Zhang suddenly asked me if I was married. I glanced at Ji Lin and stammered, unable to give a clear answer. Old Zhang pressed further, joking that I must be hiding a beauty in a golden house, and didn't want to introduce my partner to everyone. I quickly waved my hands, but still didn't know how to respond. Just then, the private room's door opened again. Following the sound, I looked over. It was actually Evelyn. Who s this old classmate? Old Zhang scratched his head. Don't recall her, miss, or you in the wrong room. Evelyn cast a disdainful glance at Ji Lin sitting beside me and said, I'm here to take Leo home. Everyone present was shocked, except for Ji Lin, who seemed to have known about Evelyn's existence all along and remained relatively calm. Beyond that, I seemed to sense a faint trace of sorrow in her. Old Chun, that is not very fair of you. Is it hiding your wife like this? If your wife had come, we wouldn't have even known. Old Zhang patted me on the shoulder, then turned to Evelyn and said, sis-in-law, we're having an old classmates gathering. Why don't you join us? Evelyn was silent for a moment, then walked up to Ji Lin and said, excuse me, could I have this seat? I'd like to sit next to my husband. 13. Ji Lin clenched her fists, then helplessly relaxed them. She tried to stand up, but I pressed her shoulders down, keeping her firmly seated in the chair. Just stay here, don't move, I said softly. I stood up and offered Evelyn a polite, faint smile. Miss, I'm currently single. You must have mistaken me for someone else. Everyone else was silently enjoying the drama, while Evelyn, feeling humiliated, flushed red with embarrassment. Leo, don't go too far. I sighed and admitted, we're already divorced. Evelyn, stop clinging to me. Let yourself go. Evelyn's expression darkened. She glanced at Jilin again and suddenly seemed lost in melancholy. Leo, the first was wrong. Come home with me, please. I've already told you we're divorced. There's nothing left between us. I said, Evelyn, if you have any sense left, please go back and stop making a scene. Otherwise, I'll have to call the police. Evelyn was clearly displeased, but being someone with a reputation to uphold, she managed to restrain herself from causing a scene right then and there. I'll wait for you at your place, she threw out before leaving. My old classmates, having overheard the exchange between Evelyn and me, since there was some unresolved history between us out of tacit understanding, they all avoided mentioning anything about Evelyn afterward. Apart from the incident with Evelyn, we had a rather enjoyable gathering. After the gathering, I drove Jilin home. We didn't exchange a single word the entire way, and I occasionally stole glances at her at red lights. She didn't seem to notice. When we reached her doorstep, I opened the car door for her. Jilin nodded at me and said, "Thank you, it was nice seeing you today." "I feel the same," I said. I watched Jilin enter her house, and just as I was getting back into my car, she suddenly turned around and called out to me. "You?" And Evelyn. Jilin hesitated, leaving her sentence unfinished. "I have no relationship with her. I'm single now," I repeated. Jilin suddenly grinned. "I'm single too." 14. When I got home, Evelyn was crouching at my doorstep like a stray kitten. It suddenly occurred to me that she didn't have a key to my place. "Leo," Evelyn exclaimed upon seeing me, running towards me with open arms. "I want you to hold me." "Don't do this." I pushed her away. "Say whatever you want to say. Now, get it all out in one go." Once it said, "Let us not meet again." Evelyn froze for a moment, then laughed self-deprecatingly. "Just because I went to Nathan's place and missed your birthday, you're going to punish me like this?" "You're overthinking it," I said firmly. "Evelyn, not everyone is as childish as you." "Then why, if you can't accept me keeping someone else outside, you could have told me. I'll stop doing it from now on. I'll only be with you." "Okay," Evelyn cried. She frantically wiped away her tears with her sleeve tugging at the hem of my clothes with a pitiful plea. "Leo, please forgive me. I truly know I was wrong." I pulled away from her. For so many years, Evelyn had always struck me as a frivolous yet strong-willed woman. Apart from the time she cried after being dumped by her boyfriend, I had never seen her shed a tear until today. Seeing her cry like this, I actually felt a twinge of reluctance in my heart. I pulled a few tissues from the car and handed them to her. "Dry your tears. It's late. You should head back soon." "I don't want it." Evelyn knocked the tissue out of my hand. "I just want you with me every single moment, Leo. The first fought so hard to marry you. Even if we're divorced now, we can always reapply for a marriage certificate. Can't we let us make up, stop hurting each other, and live properly together, please?" 15. Was it so hard to marry me? She was clearly so easy. If she had said these words when Evelyn and I had just gotten married, I might have compromised, but 3 years, 3 whole years, she has been flirting around playing the field without a care, and now she tells me she wants to forget the past and start over. What kind of international joke is this? "Evelyn, there's no future for us. I sincerely wish you and Nathan a lifetime of happiness together," I said. Evelyn's makeup was smeared from crying, and at this moment, she looked just as wretched as she had that night 7 years ago when her boyfriend had dumped her. Back then, she also came to my bar with that same tear-streaked face, drowning her sorrows in alcohol. That was when I had just been bound to the system. Evelyn mistook me for a male escort, saying I was the most handsome among them all, and even offered to keep me. I followed her into the room, and without a word, she started taking off her clothes. I quickly helped her put them back on. "Evelyn, how about we try something different?" I said. Evelyn's heart was as cold as ashes, yet her face still wore that same frivolous air. "How do you want to play?" "Let me take care of you. Just listen to me." 16. Evelyn raised an eyebrow. "You're into role play, got costumes, got props." I shook my head. "Neither." "What do you want me to listen to you about?" "Lean on me and have a good cry." I said, "Don't worry, I've had poor hearing since childhood, and my eyesight isn't much better either." Evelyn was amused by me, laughing and laughing until the tears came. After that night, she said she wanted to be with me. I knew it was just her angry words, something she blurted out without thinking to provoke her boyfriend. But this suited me perfectly. I was just methodically completing my mission, marrying her, enduring 3 years, lifting the system's constraints, and reclaiming my freedom. Evelyn wiped her tears haphazardly, desperately, trying to hold me back. "It's possible. We still have a chance, Haven T. You always like me, you love me, and I love you. That's enough. Let us move somewhere else. I'll cut off Nathan, and you stop contacting Jilin. We can start over." "Stop deluding yourself," I said. I returned home and mercilessly locked the door behind me. I didn't leave Evelyn a single word. A heavy rain fell at night, which reminded me of the time I was thrown out of Nathan's house. Fortunately, that one happened again. I turned over and fell asleep, comfortably listening to the sound of the rain. Early the next morning, I got up to water the flowers in the yard and was shocked to find Evelyn lying unconscious and drenched at my doorstep. But she'd been waiting at my door all night. How ironic fate can be. I never imagined Evelyn would go through the same ordeal as I did. I decided to wake Evelyn up, but she just groaned twice without responding. I touched her forehead. It was burning hot. I took out her phone from her crossbody bag, planning to call Nathan to take her home. When I opened the phone, the lock screen wallpaper turned out to be a profile shot me sleeping. Had she secretly taken this photo of me while I was asleep? Her phone was password protected. I tried entering her birthday, wrong password. I tried Nathan S. birthday, next still wrong. On a whim, I entered my own birthday, as expected wrong again. Wake up, what's your phone password? I patted Evelyn S. cheek. Evelyn drowsily buried her face in the crook of her arm. 1/11/29. 11/29 November 29th, the day we got married. 17, I entered 11/29 and the lock clicked open. Finding Nathan S. phone number, I made the call. Nathan, Evelyn S. sick and refusing to leave my place. Come pick her up and take her to the hospital. I'll send you the location. Why should I go pick her up? Nathan suddenly blurted out these words over the phone. Why has Nathan become so indifferent towards Evelyn? Did something happen between them? Don't you like Evelyn? This is a great chance to make things official, I said. A sigh came through the phone. Forget it. Send me your location. I'll be right there. I waited for Nathan for quite a while before he finally showed up, fashionably late. I dragged Evelyn into Nathan S. car, and he gave her a disdainful glance. He smiled bitterly. Leo, you're living the good life. Now no worries about money or women. What do you mean nothing? After Nathan left with Evelyn, Lin asked me out for a meal. I didn't know how to reply. My heart pounding wildly. The WeChat interface showed typing, then deleted and retyped over and over. After about a minute, I said okay. Lin arranged to meet at a small diner. Their fried noodles were delicious. After evening tutoring sessions in high school, we often met there for late night snacks. I never expected this little diner would still be around after all these years. After exchanging a few pleasantries with Lin, she suddenly brought up Evelyn. Did you divorce Evelyn out of spite? Why do you ask? I was puzzled. Lin's eyes dimmed. She called me last night and told me not to interfere with you two. Leo, it's already hard enough for two people to love each other. If there is still affection between you, then make up. I frowned. Lin, I dressed up so carefully to see you today, not to hear you persuade me to reconcile with Evelyn. Then is there affection between us? I asked. Lin was visibly startled. Leo, you. What about us? I repeated. Between us. Lin lowered her gaze. We were never meant to be. That S nodded. I rejected Lin's judgment. I don't like Evelyn, and you said you're single. Lin, can we give it a try? I don't want impractical answers like fate isn't on our side. If you don't like me, you can leave right now. But if you have feelings for me too, then I swallowed a mouthful of air in my dry throat, making my voice hoarse. I leaned down and pressed a reverent kiss to her ring finger. Then I would start pursuing you. 18. Lin and I got together. I accompanied her to meals, shopping, and movies. We did everything couples should do together. 7 years wore away the youthful innocence between us, but as more mature individuals, we would now rush toward each other without hesitation. In the evening, I accompanied Lin to the food street place that held our high school memories. After buying plenty of snacks with her as we were about to leave, I ran into Evelyn. She stood before me, looking sickly, her hair disheveled and her body filthy. Wasn't she taken to the hospital by Nathan? Why is she here? Where S Nathan isn't he with Evelyn? Are you with Lin? Now Evelyn asked me. Yes, I answered truthfully. Then what am I? What do I count for? Evelyn stopped clinging to the past. There S, not a shred of affection between us. I said mercilessly, you've always treated me as your plaything, and I've never felt anything for you. Let go, don't humiliate yourself further. Evelyn suddenly choked up. Do you really not love me anymore? Then what were these 3 years about? What does it count as? It counts as a joke. A colossal joke. You're still running a fever. Whereas Nathan, let him take you home to rest properly, I urged. Nathan, Evelyn suddenly laughed. You left me, and Nathan left me too. I'm just trash that no one wants. I frowned. I'll call Uncle to pick you up. I don't want. Evelyn looked at Lin beside me. You're truly remarkable despite all my scheming. You still won. Evelyn staggered a few steps toward me. Leo, the first regretted. Clutching the necklace I once gave her, she advanced step by step. Leo, did you ever love me? I took Lin's hand. I'm sorry, never. Turns out the system was real. After all, Evelyn murmured to herself, I was the one who pushed you into someone else's arms. It was me, my fault. At that moment, Evelyn resembled a disheveled bird desperately needing someone as shelter. But that someone shouldn't have been me. Leo, can I hug you? She pleaded with me, humbly, even if just for a second. 1 second is enough. Instinctively, I reached out and wrapped my arm around Lin's waist. Sorry, I already have a girlfriend. As expected, Evelyn looked crestfallen. She nodded weakly, then staggered away. After that, I never saw Evelyn again, nor did I ever hear any news about her. Only once during a business dinner with executives from other corporations did I catch a snippet of gossip that the Dew Corporation had gone bankrupt and been acquired, and as for its former CEO, no one knew her whereabouts. Some say she ran off with a gigolo, others claim she developed cancer from excessive drinking and is now hospitalized, while still others insist she sold her house for some cash and went to the countryside to start a small business. In short, rumors abound. I simply laughed it off. Evelyn's fate was indeed rather tragic. Had she come to me for help, I probably would have offered some assistance. But then again, I thought if we never meet again, out of sight, out of mind, that would be for the best. In the third year of dating Jilin, we got married. She often lay in my arms and asked jokingly, "Did you really never have feelings for Evelyn?" I shook my head no. This time she asked me one more question, "Then why did you marry her?" It's quite a long story. I stroked Jilin's forehead. Do you want to hear it? Jilin nodded, and so one afternoon we lay on the hammock on the balcony basking in the sunlight, talking about some bizarre things related to the system. We talked for a long time until the sun gradually set, its afterglow spilling over Jilin's hair and shimmering in her eyes. She said, "Leo, let us have a child." Extra Evelyn's perspective. I spotted an exceptionally handsome male escort at the bar. He was different from everyone else. They're refined in manner and extraordinarily articulate. I immediately offered to be his exclusive client. He smiled faintly and didn't refuse. But when we checked into the room and I started to undress, he stopped me. He helped me put my clothes back on. He told me cry if you need to. He is really different from others. He could tell at a glance that I was heartbroken. I cried in his arms for a long time. Actually, I didn't want to cry at first. After all, he is just a man. There are plenty of men out there. But his embrace was too warm. I couldn't help myself. I asked him to be with me, even though I didn't even know his name. Yet strangely enough, even though we were complete strangers, he actually agreed to be with me. After spending a day on a date with him, I finally learned his name, Leo. He treated me so well, almost unervingly well. I wanted to treat him well too, but that was all I wanted, just to be kind to him. Truthfully, I never once thought about a future with him. Whenever he held me and fantasized about our married life, I felt a twinge of disgust. I admit proposing the relationship back then was truly an impulsive move on my part. But with such beauty before me, I think anyone in my position would understand, right? Faced with Leo's affection, I began growing uneasy. I feared he might impulsively propose to me someday, so I gradually distanced myself from him. I returned to my former lifestyle, wild, indulgent, seeking pleasure with different men every day. I thought this would make him tactfully walk away without a word. But to my surprise, he embraced everything about me, including my fickleness and infidelity. Gradually, I found it quite pleasant to stay with him. The wildflowers outside were merely dazzling for a moment, but coming home to be enveloped in Leo's love, that was the most wonderful thing. I realized I didn't seem to dislike him anymore. In fact, I would even be willing to marry him if he asked. To my surprise, he actually proposed to me. Of course I said yes. On the wedding day, a pretty boy came crying to beg me not to abandon him. But deep down I knew he only wanted my money. He was afraid that after marriage I'd stop seeking men outside, and he'd lose his income. I was about to have him thrown out, but Leo stopped me. He said, "Take your time to chat, no rush, I'll wait for you." He was so calm, as if it didn't matter who I was with. But I don't need this kind of tolerance. Why couldn't he just show a little jealousy for me? The more I thought about it, the angrier I became to get back at him. I kept that pretty boy around and slept with him in our marital bed. Leo didn't lose his temper at all. He affectionately called me to get up and even made me porridge. He even made an extra portion for the pretty boy. I'm so angry, doesn't he feel jealous at all? Does he even care about me? I don't dare to get close to him anymore. I'm afraid I'll fall deeper and deeper. I went to find Nathan. Nathan was my childhood friend. I was a few years older than him, and we had known each other since we were kids. I knew he liked me, so I transferred the love I had for Leo onto Nathan. Nathan was weak and timid, but he would get jealous. I felt loved, and I was satisfied. Other than that, I sought comfort in the company of younger men, because my heart felt so empty. Perhaps only one person could fill that void, but unfortunately, that person didn't care at all. The more time I spent with Nathan, the less I felt I couldn't live without Leo. Actually, Nathan and Leo are quite similar. Perhaps being with Nathan would have made me happier. It wasn't until that woman appeared one day that I suddenly realized a substitute will always remain a substitute. That woman was Jilin, Leo's high school deskmate. I once investigated her and learned some things about her and Leo. I heard she distanced herself from Leo after being confessed to by the class heartthrob, but from what I know, she rejected his confession. I don't know if Leo is aware that Jilin rejected the confession, but since she was once the closest to him, I felt an unprecedented sense of crisis when she appeared. I called her out and warned her not to set her sights on Leo. I'm already married to Leo, and we deeply love each other. I hope you won't be so shameless as to interfere, or you'll face the consequences, I said. Jilin lowered her eyes. If you truly love each other, then I wish you a lifetime of happiness and a family full of descendants. Don't worry, I only came to catch up after hearing Leo had returned. Since Evelyn has spoken like this, I want to appear again. You'd better not. After that, Jilin indeed never appeared again. I still kept looking for pretty boys everywhere, and I ran off to Nathan's place every other day. I just wanted to make Leo jealous. But I miscalculated. What I got from Leo was a single sentence: let us get divorced. Of course I refused, but I couldn't bring myself to beg him, so I resorted to yelling, picking fights, and circling around the issue, hoping there might still be a chance to salvage things. But as it turned out, I was just overthinking it. Leo still left. Heartbroken, I went to Nathan to pour out my sorrows. But Nathan told me this was bound to happen sooner or later. When I asked why, he said Leo was bound to a system. Its mission was to conquer me, and he could only be freed after marrying me for 3 years, or else he would die. I don't believe it. This is too absurd. I asked him how he knew, and he said because he was also bound to the system. I asked him again what his system task was, and he said to come between me and Leo, and when Leo divorced me, he would be free. So the two men closest to me had ulterior motives for approaching me. What a ridiculous life I've been living. I went out philandering, trying to make Leo jealous, then sought comfort from Nathan to unwind, only to end up as a laughingstock in their eyes. I cut ties with Nathan. Nathan said he'd looked after me all these years and deserved some compensation for his efforts. I told him to go fuck himself, playing me for a fool and still expecting my money. This money either belongs to Leo and me as a couple, or it's mine alone, Evelyn S. After a huge fight with Nathan, I went straight to Leo. I crashed his class reunion and even waited outside his building all night. I thought if I treated my own body so wretchedly, he might take pity on me and reconcile with me. But the truth was not like that. Even though she arrived late to the wedding and postponed the banquet for that boy toy, he really doesn't care about me anymore. I watched as Leo and Jilin reconciled, watched their feelings grow deeper while I could do nothing. One last time I wanted to take a gamble. I made myself a mess and found Leo trying to win his pity. I told him all I need is just one hug from you. But he couldn't even fulfill this simplest request. With his arm around Jilin's waist, he told me he already had a girlfriend. At last it dawned on me I had lost Leo forever. The end.